Hey, it's Joel. We've got something cool coming up. I'm recording this, well, at least this portion, a couple weeks before the Midwest RepRap Festival. And there's a reason for that, because what I'm about to do is going to take some time, and I have to get it ready before the Midwest RepRap Festival, and it's going to involve the Matterhackers Nylon G Filament. So, let's get to it. I'm Joel. This is 3D Printing Nerd. This episode of 3D Printing Nerd is fueled by Matterhackers. There you are. Welcome back. I wanted to get my hands on some of this. This is the Nylon G Filament from Matterhackers. It's a nylon-based filament with glass fibers in it, and it's supposed to be rugged, tough, and shock-resistant. I want to get my hands on this, and I wanted to try it out, but I don't want to print any more brackets. I have plenty of brackets. I don't need any more brackets. What I need is a good test, and I think shock resistance, that should be what I test it with. So, because the Midwest RepRap Festival is going to have an OpenRC race, there's also going to be an OpenRC Demolition Derby. What better way than to test a filament's ability to absorb and resist shock than with a demolition derby? So, that's what we're gonna do. The top side of the car I've printed in Nylon X. It's Nylon G's cousin. It's the nylon-based material, but it's got carbon fiber bits throughout. It's like a unicorn ate some chocolate milk and out came Nylon X. No, that's not how it's born, but whee! This is Nylon X, printed on the Pulse XE with the ruby nozzle. You can see it looks good. It looks pretty good. Nylon X isn't known for its bridging capabilities, which is fine. I can't really stretch too far either, but look at those sidewalls. Look at that. It looks pretty good. Look at the nose. There's the nose. Focus, focus, focus. And the backside. You can see the shape of this backside right here. It was printed. It's printed like this, but those layers they almost disappear right there. That's pretty good. So this part of the car, there we go. This part right here, this is Nylon X, and the idea, other than the tires, the rest will be in Nylon G. I've been printing. This is Nylon G. This wonderful safety orange material is Nylon G. It's, well, here, look at this. This is the back of the car. This is what goes like that. But, I mean, this has got some nylon to it. And, I mean, I can hit it, so it didn't break, right? Right, it didn't break. That's good. This is all Nylon G parts. It's safety orange. You can tell that I printed with Nylon X settings on the Pulse XE. I think it did a good job. There's still some parts where, you know, you get a little bit of hairs just from the travel moves, and that's okay. I have a fix for that. It's called an X-Acto knife. And what you can do is do that. Picking away these things with your fingernails is valid, but then if you get any of it under your fingernails, it's going to suck a lot. So use your tools. I had an issue. So the Pulse XC has a Garolite bed, and Garolite and nylon like to hold on to each other quite a bit. But nylon itself loves to curl up. It loves to give the top side a big giant hug. And so you end up with this. Oh, rear axle. It's a little, whee. Yeah, it's rather unfortunate. And so, brims. I decided that a lot of these parts actually needed some brimmage. We had some creep up on these, this part, and this part, this part. I think the rest of them were okay, but just a tiny, tiny bit of flex. Just if I push down on both, it's fine. That's pretty good. This one, rockabye baby. So going forward, I identified all the pieces that I think would need a brim, and I either reprinted them like this axle and like these parts right here. But I also did these. There we go. That's not bad. Just because I didn't have to reprint these, I went, you know, these are gonna need a brim. So I did this. And actually, there are Nylon G supports. Usually nylon likes to weld itself to itself. So supports are tricky, but because of the glass fibers, and in the case of Nylon X, because of the carbon fibers, typically you can do supports a little bit easier. Notice I said a little bit easier. Oh, look at that. That came off well. And this, of course, we can take this X-Acto knife. Cool. This part as well. Look at that. That is a fun part. That is a fun part right there. So Nylon G, again, doesn't bridge as well as other filaments, and it looks like it caused a micro little layer shift right there. But it's okay because I don't see it on the top of the model, and what's hidden is never seen. Finally, I did the chassis front and the chassis back. There they are. I've taken off the brim on this one. I've left some of the brim on this one. I just wanted to see if it had an accurate fit. And it does. That fits really, really well. For removing brims, you can also use something like this. This is a burr removing tool. I learned about this from Chuck Hellebuck, and then I went and bought one, so it works out. But for brims, just like with edges, you just kind of drag it along. You've got a good edge, and you've got a super good edge. So a razor blade, a burr removing tool, the rest of these parts, I think I've got what I need to get them prepped to put together. However, to put all these parts together, I'm going to need hardware and electronics. The electronics are at the hobby store, which is relatively close to the house as the crow flies. The hardware, though, metric hardware and the United States don't typically go together, unfortunately. Thankfully, there's a hardware store close to me that not only has metric hardware, it has the honor system. So it has these giant aisles of hardware. You just go and you get little baggies. You get a little bag and you write down a quantity and you write down a price per, and then they calculate it out at the register. And I got a little bit of extras of each because I know I like to lose things. I've got printed parts, I've got hardware. Electronics are easy to get. So I think the first step for me to do this is to put this together using this hardware. I have bearings on order and they should be arriving today. So once they arrive, I will begin the assembly process. And once that happens, then I'll take the car to the hobby store. And hopefully they go, ooh, and they go, ah, and then they help me get the stuff for it. And then I put that in, I test it, and then we take it to the Midwest RepRap Festival, where we hopefully reign supreme on the Demolition Derby. It should be fun. Wish me luck. Hey, it's been a few days, and it's St. Patrick's Day. So the Murph 2017 shirt actually works really well for St. Patrick's Day because, as you can tell, it's green. This is a terrible mess. Here, let's see. I've made a mess of things. Part of what I'm trying to do is get the parts together. I still need to go to the hobby store. I think I'm gonna do that tomorrow and get the motor and the servo and the radio, stuff like that. What have I done so far? I got that together. I like this Nylon G material because it's a little bit flexible. I don't think it's gonna break easily. One of the things though, well here, we'll get to that in just a sec. So here's this part, see? That's good. I got the bearings in, and then this one. This is where we're running into some issues right here. This part is a little bit too flexible, and so turning isn't as accurate. It needs to be a little bit more rigid to hold that down so that the servo saver doesn't kick in. So that's what we're working on. But right now, I have to get this cleaned up and put out of the way because I have another video I need to film. Don't worry. It's all those things right there. That's cool. I'm gonna get that filmed, but I think what I might do is reprint these right here, this part in Nylon X because it's stiffer, and then it should be good. Wish me luck.
Day 3.
Hey, it's Tuesday. I just took this yesterday to my local hobby shop. This is the 3D Printing Nerd OpenRC F1 that Daniel Noré and Anton put together. They put this together, and I took this to the hobby shop because if I go and say, I've got an OpenRC F1 car, give me parts, they'll be like, eh? So I did that, and I got parts in a bag. First, let's see, the Spectrum STX and the number 2, Spectrum STX2, 2-channel, 2.4 gigahertz FHSS radio system. I said, I need an inexpensive, simple radio system to run all the parts that I'm gonna get for this car. And the nice man at the booth said, you need this. And I said, okay. So here it is. That's what it looks like. There's papers on the ground. Looks like that's the receiver. That's the receiver right there. And this is the steering thing. Next up is this. This is a Venom Drive, tiny little battery, 1600 milliamp hour, but it's a tiny battery because it's got to fit in the car. This is the part that goes between the servo and the servo saver. It's kind of interesting. It's a little plastic thing that you can clip on. That's supposed to be their version of a servo saver. I might just clip the metal and bend because that seems cooler. Oh, this is the LiPo and balance charger for the battery. That's good. We do need that. This is a Horizon Dynamite 20-turn 540 brushless motor. Look at that. That's focusing. That's good. This is a 60A waterproof forward reverse brushed electronic speed control. So the battery goes into this, and then the speed control controls the speed of the motor. I believe the receiver plugs into that as well. This is an HS55 Ultra Micro Servo. Ultra Micro. Look at that. It is a tiny little thing. We don't need a big servo like the giant car, because this is not a giant car. This is a tiny car. This is easy connectors. So this is what connects that rod to the servo. You can use one of these. Well, one of the things that I was worried about is this piece right here, kind of the forward piece. The Nylon G kind of bends a little bit this way, and if I try to turn the servo saver, it doesn't turn very much. Nylon itself is a bit of a flexible material. I mean, it's not rigid like PLA is rigid, and the glass fibers don't do anything to reinforce it, unlike the carbon fibers in the Nylon X. Here we go, see? I remembered all that. But here's something that I need to remember: when this is attached on, then it's going to stiffen up, compress this, and it should mean that this can turn. There we go. They just turned. I'll get a drill and drill it out. That'll be easier. Let me get some stuff out of the packaging. Let's put this together as much as we can, and let's see what happens. I think it's time to take a break from all of this. We've got this assembly. Here, let's turn on this camera. Here, have a look. And let's see. Okay. And then, okay, so it looks like it works. We've still got some more work to do. We got to put the tires on. It turns out I didn't get enough screws, so I need to go to the hardware store. I need to get more screws. I haven't had lunch yet. I need to go have some lunch. It's coming together. This might actually happen. I'm pretty excited about this. See you soon.
Day 4.
It's now Thursday, and I'm wearing my awesome Optimus Prime TARDIS Transformers shirt. I had some inspiration last night, and I went and, well, it's allergy season here in the Pacific Northwest. All the pollen is out. It was 80 degrees yesterday, and I'm susceptible to pollen. But because I was hopped up on allergy medication, I was awake, and here, look, I got it mostly assembled, and look right here. See that top part? That top part, that is black. And the reason it's black is because I reprinted it in PLA material. I'm out of Nylon X. So I went with PLA, and I went with 50% infill with a bunch of perimeters. So if you look right here, this is the part that was there before. Nylon G is a little bit flexible. PLA, 50% infill, is not. I also reprinted the servo saver. I think it'll be okay. I have these just standing by, just in case. This will fit on. I'm not gonna hook up the battery just yet. I just wanna show you how it fits on. So it goes on like this, and then these go over. And there we go. Look at that, We've got ourselves an F1 car. Let's turn it on. Let's hook up the battery. Why don't we? So I turn on the transmitter first because I think that's what you're supposed to do. Not a lot of room in there. Okay. That's forward, that's reverse, and then steering. doesn't really return to position too well. But it does go. So, I mean, we're at that point. So now the real test will be to take it outside and see if it goes. It worked. It worked. Yes. Wow. Let's see. So the Nylon G, perfect. Nylon X, nice and rigid. These tires worked well. A little bit slippery on the concrete. That's okay. The mirrors, I got to glue those in. I don't know what glues nylon to nylon, but we'll try some stuff. This is good and sturdy. It's all good. This is all good. So now I think that it's ready to go to the Midwest RepRap Festival. I'm gonna have to pack it up nice. I'll probably print some spare parts just in case. Well, unless something changes, the next time you'll see me, I'll be at the Midwest RepRap Festival in Goshen. See you soon.
Driver, are you ready? Yes. Driver, are you ready? On your mark, get set, go!
Yay! I lost.
The last car moving wins. On your mark, get set, go!
OpenRC F1 race is over. I lost in the first heat of the race, which is okay because the person that beat me also lost, so that's totally fine. Then in the Demolition Derby, what happened was my car took second place. Keith Tinkers from Protoposty took first. The Nylon G performed incredibly well. There was no problems with it. It broke once right here, and that's just because, I mean, someone hit this really hard, broke that off. And then the tires, this is the only one I can recover. The other one is in someone's pocket somewhere. If you look right here, the screws didn't come in far enough. So with the screws not coming in far enough, these were able to pop off really easily. I think what I can do is put longer screws in there and reinforce it. The rest of the car works just fine. I'll try to find the tire. If I can't find it, I'll just print another one. But I'm gonna take this home and I'll get it working, and then we'll wrap this up. See you there. Wow, Murph was incredible. It was an insane time. My car performed better than I thought it would, and I'm happy about that. There's things I want to change, and I think there are a lot of positives from this, and I want to go over that. First, whomever stole my tire, you never came back to get it signed. On the car, one thing broke, and it's right there, but that's it. I think because, here's what's crazy. So I used Nylon G. Nylon G from Matterhackers is glass-infused nylon, and that was what I used for the orange pieces. And rather than this piece right here, so something hit it really hard right here, and instead of breaking it off right here, it sheared it along a layer line, essentially. Also, the tires, the axles just come off. That's unfortunate. The insides did really well. I forgot to glue them in. No one hit it hard enough to really break anything. I used Nylon X for the black parts. They all turned out great. I'm really impressed this thing didn't break at all. That's impressive, because if that was PLA, I just would have broke it all over the place. In the end, I think Nylon X and Nylon G are formidable filaments to use for an application like this. I think Matterhackers has themselves some decent materials, and I look forward to racing this, modified a little bit, in the Midwest RepRap Festival 2020 OpenRC races. I can definitely put some longer screws in here, and I can definitely fortify this piece up here. But other than that, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, other than that, there's really nothing that needs to be done here, because had these wheels been on, I would have kicked Keith's butt and I would have taken first place at the Demolition Derby. Just need to reprint another tire. All right, well, you know what? Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope I saw you at Murph. I hope you saw this live. If you have any photos or videos of my car, please tag me on Twitter. I'm at Joel Telling, or post them to my Facebook page, Facebook.com/3D Printing Nerd. I'd love to see it. Beyond all that, don't forget to hug each other more, because I do love you guys. See you at the next Smurf. As always, high five.